Okay, so you can see my desktop, okay? You type in the chat box and tell me if you can see my desktop okay. So there are 5 key reasons why we need to be using LinkedIn. Number 1, the average age on LinkedIn is 43 years. So you've got a more seasoned business person, you've got somebody who's probably getting paid more, and they're in the prime of their working years, or they own the business, so they've had some time to make their business profitable. Number 2, the average income of people on LinkedIn is between 120 and 125,000. That's annual. The average annual income on Facebook over 19 years of age is 22,000. So it's a lot different. So if we've been concentrating our efforts on Facebook, and we really are, then we're really missing the boat, because the people who can afford to buy our stuff are right here on LinkedIn. The third reason, it's the most professional platform on the net, bar none. There's nothing out there. I get invited to platforms all the time, and there's none of them that compare to LinkedIn. And number 4, everybody there is wanting to do business. So what are we waiting for, right? And the whole secret to LinkedIn is in the groups, number 5. So hence the development of my 3 different webinars or workshops. I used to do these as workshops, but I've discovered over the years people are busy. They don't have time to go and spend half of a day basically to go to a 2-hour workshop, because especially women, you know, if you have babysitters, you have to get a babysitter, and you have to get ready, and then you have to drive there, and then you spend the time, and then you have to drive home, and it's just, I found, especially in the Edmonton area, it was it's pretty daunting to try and get people to come out to workshops. So these webinars with this kind of a platform where I can share my screen, I can go live, you can actually see firsthand what your profile is going to look like when you're working on it, because you're looking at it. I'm looking at my profile the same way you would be looking at your profile. So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing my back office of LinkedIn, so to speak. So let's start here. I'm going to go on to the profile page. And I've pulled up several profiles of different ones here, so I hope I've got all of your profiles up. Now, you notice when you run your mouse over your profile, when you go to your profile page, you can change stuff. Oh, you could edit your background. I have a Fiverr gal, it's fiverr.com. You pay $5 to get something like this background photo set up for you. So all I did is I told her what I wanted on there, and I sent her the copy of the cover of my book. And this is what she came up with for me, which was absolutely perfect. I loved it when she sent it back to me. And I sent it, I had her do an edit. So when you have, every time she does an edit, she charges you another $2.50 or was it $7.50 she charged me. I ended up paying $12.50 to get this done, which is way less than if you had somebody local to do it. And I feel guilty saying that, but most people cannot afford. Now, what in the world is this all about? So I don't know what's going on. I got these green lines just all of a sudden showed up. So anyway, I have, most small businesses can't afford to pay $250 to $500 for artwork. And so this little gal that I found at Fiverr, I use her all the time now. She actually lives in the UK. And I give her information out to people whenever they ask me. So you have 3 seconds to make a great first impression on LinkedIn. 1 second for people to look at your picture, 1 second for them to look at your name, and 1 second for them to check out your headline. If any one of these 3 things is out, they will pass you by and go look somewhere else. So when people come check your profile, we want them to look at all of these 3 things. And then the next thing we want them to do, we want them to go and check our summary. That's the very next thing. I'm wondering if somebody has gotten into my computer. Whoa. Let's see if it's on. Yeah, it's right on my computer. So as soon as this is finished, I'm going to be getting in touch with my IT guy. Oh, this is spooky, isn't it? Okay. So we need to have a professional headshot here, and I'm preaching to the choir. Both of you have great professional headshots, so you don't need to worry about that. And only your name goes here, and this is stipulated in the terms of use with LinkedIn. There's no MBA, BA, none of that stuff goes here. Just your name goes here, because any of your education should show up down here. And then they can see a little bit about your education, and then they'll go look for more information about your education. But that's the main thing, just your name. These lines here, you have up to 135 characters. And when I took journalism, I went to the Lethbridge College, and they taught us there the rule of 13 words. So when you go to college and study journalism, I don't know if they teach it anymore, but somebody had done research, and they found that 13 words is the optimum number of words that attracts people's attention in a sentence, in a full sentence. So when we open up a blog that we're writing or an article we're writing, 13 words grabs people's attention. So I try really hard whenever I write my blogs. My opening sentence is usually 13 words, and not the title of whatever it is, not the caption, but the first sentence, the opening sentence. So on LinkedIn, they've given you enough space here to put in 13 words. Now, if you can't think of 13 words right off the bat, don't worry about it. The 13 words will come to you eventually. And you can edit this. You can change it anytime you want to. So then I put Edmonton, Canada area, because I'm in Kalmar. Who knows Kalmar, right? So I put Edmonton, Canada area. Now I'm going to show you something here. I did a search for people in Edmonton, and I just put Edmonton, Alberta. Oh. I can't remember. I did a whole bunch of different searches. Edmonton, Alberta, or just Edmonton. Oh, the search isn't coming up the way I wanted it to. But what was the search for people in Edmonton? It showed me that there was 366,900 people in Edmonton. When I did this search last summer, it was 315,000. So that shows you how fast people are getting on LinkedIn in the Edmonton area. That would probably include, you know, Beaumont, Stony Plain, Spruce Grove, Devon, Leduc, Wetaskiwin. I would imagine all these areas, a lot of people are saying that they're from the Edmonton area. So, and of course, Sherwood Park would probably say Edmonton area. So what that tells me is that people in our area are trying really hard to diversify. And because they are doing that, or because of the economy, they are really trying hard to find other ways to be able to market themselves. We've had over 70,000 people laid off in the oil patch. That's someone was telling me the other day that it's far more layoffs than has ever happened. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing, which is the summary. So once you have those three key things up in the top and where you're from, what area you're from, check your summary. Your summary needs to talk about who you are and why you do what you do. People need to know about your why. If they don't know who you are and why you're doing what you're doing, it's much harder for people to want to do business with us. It's the old know, like, and trust. And when we let a little bit of ourselves be transparent, then people will be more endeared to wanting to do business with us. So what I did in my profile, I think you're allowed about 20, somewhere around 2,000 words, characters in your summary. And so I talked a little bit about LinkedIn and where it's come from. And then I go into myself and I talk about myself and incorporate a little bit about what I do and about my book. And then at the very bottom, you put specialties. So you put keywords in here that people would probably Google if they were searching for you on the net and they didn't know your name and they didn't know the name of your business. So you need to think of all those kinds of keywords. And every once in a while, I'll think of another one, and so I'll just add it on the bottom here. And it's very easy to do because you saw that pencil show up. You just click on that pencil and away you go. Boy, I wish I knew how to get rid of those green things on my screen. And then you just click save. But one of the things that you also can do is when you're doing your summary, you can add video or images or presentations that you've done. So I've added some PowerPoint presentations in mine, and I'm just going to click save. Now here's another thing I need to tell you about quickly here before we get too far along. See this little button right here? That's about notify your network. Mine's turned on right now, so I'm going to turn it off because as I'm doing training, people are going to continue to receive notices. Christine has a new job. Christine has a new post. Christine, they'll get tons and tons of these notices out. And I don't really want that to go out every time I turn around. So I'm going to be doing, because I'm going to be doing some different things. So these are some links to some PowerPoint presentations that I've got on YouTube that people can click on and then get more information about LinkedIn. And the next item that I have is experience. Now, if you have these things all out of order on your computer, on your, your LinkedIn, what you need to do is think, okay, what do I want to show up in the top? So let's go up to the top and I'll show you here. So I want, because it'll only show the first 3 things, right? So if you don't want because LinkedIn will automatically list everything chronologically. So, but you can control that. You can move them around within the experience so that you can get the ones to show up top that you want. So my current and my previous, I've got them all showing up the way I want them to show. That's what I want people to see first. We need to put all of our experience on there. Well, at least 5 to 10, depending on how old we are. I don't go back all the way to high school at my age, but they say put as much of your experience on there as you can without looking too old. Because people, there's that. You know, when I've spoken to groups, I've had people come up to me and say, one woman came up to me in tears. It was her 50th birthday, 2 days before her 50th birthday. She was laid off, pink slip, downsized, fired if they don't have another job for you to go to. And another person was 2 weeks before her 50th birthday. Another one was 2 weeks after. I had men come up to me and tell me the same thing. And the thing is, it's not discrimination. It's a financial decision. There are 3 reasons why people are being laid off at the age of 50. Number 1, when you're 50, you tend to use the extended medical benefits more, and it drives the monthly premiums up. And I have honors certification in accounting and business administration, and I worked at a job in Vancouver for 5 years in and controlling all of the finance and the registrations for a very large out-of-school daycare program, one of the largest in the Vancouver area, I think the 2nd largest. And I saw, when we started our extended medical program, we saw the premiums were $250 a month, and by the time I left there in 5 years, they had gone up to $750 a month. And I'm afraid I was part to blame because I was in my 50s. So I can understand businesses being wary of those costs. And then the second thing is they figure they can hire 2 20-year-olds and train them for less than what they have to pay a 50-year-old. And the third thing is they want to avoid looking like they're laying them off to avoid paying any retirement benefits. So here we are, people in my age bracket, trying to find a way to keep on earning a living, because many of us, like if you're like us, we have a Brady Bunch of 8 kids, and we put them all through school, university. Hence, no savings left. So everybody's different, but what they're finding is, I was looking at some statistics, and they are saying in those statistics that 85% of seniors cannot afford to retire. But I really think it's higher. I think it's more like 95% of people who are retiring today really can't afford to retire. But that was a little bit of an aside. Let's go down to this experience here, and I want to show you. So we've got the experience. If you right-click and hold this and move your mouse, you can move this section up or down in your whole profile. So this will move the entire experience section up or down. Okay, so you want to be careful that you don't move it too far. So I hope I didn't take it too far and move it up above. Yeah, I did. I moved it above my. Okay, so I moved it above my. Let's see if it'll go down. So this is a really good experience. So we can go ahead and. Okay, let's see if it moved properly here. Nope. I'm scared to move it too far because I'm afraid it's going to go. Now it's probably gone too far. No, I'll have to play with that later, but you can get the idea that you can just move this. And then when you go at the side here, I'm going to just save this. At the side here, to ensure you're editing most recent information, please reload the page and retry and try again. Okay, so I'm going to refresh. Okay, so I'm not, rather than try to move that and get it just in the right spot, see this little line that shows up here? This is where you can just move individual pieces of the experience within that section. So you can move this up or down to be able to get it positioned where you want it to be, so that up top it will show up the way you want it. So you have the top three of each of the current and previous. And if it says current, it means that you have your end date says to present. So if you want it to be able to stay in the current section, you have to have it such and such a date to present. And then the ones in your past have to have an end year on them. And you're like here, you can see I've also added some PowerPoint presentations and things so that people can come and I've got a video that's saved on YouTube of me speaking about LinkedIn to a group of people. So it's wonderful to be able to add all of these things to our profile. So there's my summary. Let's see if we can get him up here where he's supposed to go. Did he move? Let's see. I think he did. So when you're putting in all, it's like uploading your resume. So you're putting in all of your experience, and I like to move my education right below my experience and get so that you don't have all of this languages and certifications and I would move this languages myself. I would move that down below and put my certifications up here and my education and my certifications. Then I would go into your language and then your projects. So my projects are my webinars, and so I've got them all listed on here, my 101, my 202, and my 303. 202 is the secrets of the groups, and 303 is where I teach people how to pull all of their social media together and be able to use an auto posting system so that you can get it running on autopilot. Otherwise you end up spending 14 hours a day just doing your social media marketing. It's just too much, I run platforms for people and help them set up their own social media and things like that. But I try not to do it. I try to teach everybody to do it for yourself, because then you're in control. And for me to write blogs for somebody else, I'm not them. And it's really hard for me to write as though I was that person. So because I'm not what you call a journalist, really, I've written books and things like that, and I've done a lot of blog writing, but it's not, I wouldn't class myself as being that's my forte or my strength. So I try not to run people's social media for them. I will help them on a regular basis, like maybe we'd spend an hour a month together until they can get on their feet to help them that way. But it's best if you do it all yourself. And then once you get on an auto posting system, and you might want to check this out, sproutsocial.com. and you can try it out for free for 30 days. And you can just go on to Sprout Social and you can manage all of your Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter right from that one platform. So you don't have to go into LinkedIn and into Facebook and into Twitter every day. And you can just manage your social media on 15 to 30 minutes once or twice a day. It's just that simple. I've got posts going out all the time because of this Sprout Social. And I can be busy talking to people, going to meetings, giving talks, and not have to be worrying that I'm not sitting in my office writing another post. And here's the rule of 10. I'm going to give you the rule of 10. Out of 10, 6 are reposts, things that you're posting that you really like that somebody else has done or written. So it can be quotes from Abraham Lincoln. I will, on the weekends and on holidays, I will post a really good piece of music from YouTube. I like the Piano Guys, and I like Celtic Thunder, and I like Calabro and Montevani, and then sometimes I'll put some old stuff from Patti Page and Doris Day and Dean Martin and Old Blue Eyes, and just mix it up. But just one. I don't put a whole bunch for a whole day of music posted. And I just say happy Sunday and enjoy, because I just feel that people need to take a break sometimes. And then you'll see posts from, when you're on Sprout Social, you'll see great posts in LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter that you can just click like and share, or you can retweet. And I count those as part of my 6. Then there's 3 that are ones that you write yourself. And it takes a while to build that up. So this per 10 posts, so 10 posts a day, 10 posts a week. I strongly advise you try to start with 10 posts a week. But as you get onto an auto posting system, it becomes easier and easier and easier. Because as you build up your posts, and we go through all of that, you have them all sitting there ready to go out. And then your last one, that last post, that is a pitch. It's a pitch for, maybe it's a workshop, maybe it's a webinar you're going to do, but you do one pitch out of 10 posts. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've noticed, especially on LinkedIn, people will connect with me, and then and when people connect with me, I always send them a little comment. Thanks for joining my network. I look forward to finding ways to collaborate. In fact, in the back of the workbook, there's a sample letter that I have there that I use for when people connect with me on LinkedIn. And it invites them to connect with my Facebook business page and follow me on my company page on LinkedIn. And follow me on Twitter. And then I have a famous quote at the bottom, one of my favorite quotes. And you'll see that on the workbook that I sent you. So you can use that as an example and pattern yours sort of similar. So here's just some more of my webinars and courses that I've taken. Publications, I've been published in some newspapers. And so those are listed here. And my honors and awards are here. My volunteer work. Now, when you're listing all your experience and your education, one of the big things that people look for is holes. So, for instance, if you were off work for a year, maybe you were going to school or university and taking something, studying something, that will show up in your education. But I had a software engineer who didn't know what to do, because you can't have holes in your experience in your education, because people will find that and they'll wonder, what were you doing for a year? Were you sitting eating bonbons on the couch, or what were you doing? But what he did is he was a software engineer, and he volunteered his services to charities to help them with their computers, with programming. And so he logged all of that and kept track of what he was doing for his volunteer work. So I need to move this edge too far. But I'm not going to move things around right now. Now this is your endorsements. And I have a lot of people tell me, oh, are the endorsements any good? I have people connecting with me, and then right away they endorse me for everything. And I've wondered that too. And to me, it invalidates the endorsements. They really don't know me. They've really not done business with me. How can they really endorse me? And so what my advice is I will only endorse people that I know and I know them well enough to endorse them and know about what they do, and or that somebody has recommended to me. I have to really know them or have done business with them in order to be able to endorse somebody. However, if somebody endorses me, yeah, I'm going to accept that. I'm going to take that endorsement. And here's why. When I was living in the Vancouver area, their LinkedIn sent me a special invitation to this special workshop that they were having, or this big conference that they were putting on in a big major center downtown, a big conference center. And I thought, oh my goodness, all these LinkedIn gurus are going to be there that I've seen online. I'm going to get to meet them. Well, I got there and I was so disappointed because I maybe knew 5 people out of the 200 to 300 people that were there. And I thought, what in the world? How come they're not there? So after the event was over, I asked some of these compadres, so to speak, I didn't see you at the big LinkedIn conference. And they said to me, what LinkedIn conference? And I was blown away that they weren't invited. So back to the conference, I found out why they weren't invited. At the end of the conference, you know, they'll have this big stage, and then on each side of the stage, they'll have these great big screens that they show their PowerPoint presentations as they're explaining everything. And what this conference was for is they were telling us all the new things that coming up on LinkedIn and how they were going to benefit us and all that kind of stuff. Well, at the very end of the seminar, all of a sudden, there's my headshot on these big screens. I'm going, oh, what is going on? And they said, Christine Till, would you come to the stage, please? And I went, oh my gosh. They gave me a special award. And do you know what that award was for? It was for having the most endorsements of anyone in British Columbia. So I decided, okay, I guess I better go ahead and accept all these endorsements. They mean something. So people are watching how many people are endorsing us. So the endorsements are a good thing in that way. But the thing that has the most validity in my books, that carries the most weight, is this, go away, the written recommendations. And so you can go down till you find there's a little place in the profile that says recommendations. And so once you're in your profile, you just type in this search bar somebody's name, and then you can go in and write a recommendation for that person. So let's see, I've got, where's Joan? I have to move this little thing out of the way. There you are. Okay. So I can go down, I can scroll down Joan's profile, for instance, And this is another thing. Whenever I know Joan really well, we've worked together. So when I get asked to endorse her for something, I usually do. And so when I'm going in checking whoever it is, I will click endorse. So I'm going to go down here. See here, this comes up. So I can recommend Joan. And I click on her recommendation. I can write 2 to 3 real heartfelt sentences and get something that's genuine, that really I think will mean something to Joan. And then down here, I can change this however I want and reword it. This is what LinkedIn wants to put in. You can leave that if you want, but if you want to put in a few extra words there, you can. And then what was our relationship? Well, I like to use this one here, where it says, I worked with Joan, but we were at different companies. I could also say Joan was a client of mine, or I was a client of Joan's, whichever I decide. But I like to use this one because it carries more weight when other people are reading the recommendation in certain cases. But I think with Joan, I might put that I was a client of hers. And then what was I doing? I was the executive director at LinkedIn Marketing Mentors. Now, this is another thing. When we are talking about ourselves in our own business, we need to talk about ourselves as though we're bigger than life, not just owner, but put CEO, executive director, something like that, instead of owner. And she was a wellness facilitator at Synergy for Health. So I can check this one here. And then go ahead and finish writing my recommendation. But I'm just showing you this. I'm not going to write it right now because I don't want to. It's going to take time to think what I want to write. So I'm just going to cancel that. But at least you know where to go. And then once you've written one recommendation, you can just type people's names in here and write a recommendation. And here's the thing. If I want recommendations, what I do is I go through my list of people that I've done business with, and then I write a recommendation for them first. And then when they get that email that says, Christine has written a recommendation for you, you get to read through the recommendation and see what they've written. And if I've made some typos or whatever, you can always ask me to edit it and fix it and then send it back. And then you can accept that recommendation. But in order for you to accept that recommendation, you need to go up here into the manage, this little icon up here, and into your privacy and settings. And LinkedIn makes you log in twice. And so you go in and you do this. Boy, I'm really upset about those green strokes. It scares me to death. I'm having a hard time keeping my train of thought. Oh, it's really spooky. So here you can manage your recommendations right here. And so if you've got a pending recommendation, so somebody has written a recommendation for you, you need to go up into the pending recommendations and accept it, and then it will get placed in your profile where it belongs. So back in my profile, and you can also manage what your recommendations. So in the fact that you can uncheck them so that they don't show up. They won't be deleted from your profile, but I've got like, well, it's well over 200 recommendations. And I've gotten them all basically from me writing the recommendation first, and then people get these recommendations and then they feel all glowy inside and they want to write one back, right? So I just go in and I uncheck some of my recommendations, and so that they move around, and then different recommendations can show up for different periods of time. And the search engines love it. They like to have things change on your profile because it just keeps them busy, and it refreshes everything in your profile. So once you get finished doing a whole bunch of editing like what we're doing tonight, I will turn my little button on so that any changes I make after that will then be sent out, and all my network can be able to see them. It's another way of keeping your face in front of people, and so they remember you. And so when they need your stuff or your help, oh, I remember Susan, she can help me with that. That's what will happen. It's just like online networking. This is a huge networking room, and you're out there reaching out to these people to see how you can find ways that you can collaborate with each other. And people love that word collaborate. I use it all the time when somebody is reaching out to talk with me, or they'll send me a message. I try and fit the word collaborate in there somehow. Well, I've done this. I'm ahead of myself here. So put your hand up if you've been writing some articles or some blogs. None? Oh my gosh, you guys. You know, I didn't know it, but I realized probably a couple years after I'd been doing it for a while that my podcasting had been branding myself. And the way I came up with my name, The Marketing Mentress, I came up with that. I did some brainstorming with my oldest son, who is a software engineer. He's one of the software engineers that works with our organization for these larger companies, IBM and Dell, and software developers. And he worked for Microsoft for many years, and also worked for PC Week magazine for quite a few years. And then now he's just been headhunted, and he's been about a year with Amazon. And he's 45 this year. I can't believe I've got a son 45. Anyway, Michael says, well, Mom, you're really good at marketing. Why don't you just start a marketing marketing show? And I said, oh, brilliant. I'll do that. What am I going to call myself? He says, well, you could just call yourself a marketing mentor. And I'm like, well, that's very masculine. We don't like that. So we brainstormed, and out popped the word mentress. And I thought, oh, I love it. Marketing mentress. My husband didn't like it at first because he thought I was going to get called the marketing mistress. And I've only had 2 people ever do that, and we've done it in jest. Oh, the marketing mistress. And I go, don't you dare. And but it's been really good. It's stuck. And everybody's been very respectful for the marketing mentress. But then I was going to networking meetings and introducing myself as the marketing mentress. And then people would say, well, what is that really? Because it really was vague about what kind of marketing do I do. And so then I realized I needed to get more specific. So now I introduce myself as the LinkedIn marketing mentress. Well, then everybody knows exactly what I do. I specialize with LinkedIn. I don't really need to say a lot more. And so, and I'll stand up and introduce myself as the LinkedIn marketing mentress, and I'll be at a networking meeting, and somebody will come up to me. Just about every time someone comes up to me and says, oh, I need your help. Because there's not many people out there that know LinkedIn very well, especially women. And there's guys that tout themselves as being LinkedIn gurus or mavens. That's another name that they call them. But not a lot of women that I've met, and I'm connected. And that's another thing. You want to connect to people that are your competition. And this is why. You want to keep them in your back pocket so you see what they're doing, right? You don't need to share all your secrets or whatever. But when I was, no matter what industry I've been in sales and marketing, people are always worried about somebody coming and stealing their ideas. I'm more wanting to see what they're doing so that I'm not missing out on something. So if there's a new development or a new product that I could be using to help me with my business, I want to know about it, right? And the best way to find out about that is to be close, keep those people in your back pocket. Well, maybe not quite your back pocket, but you know, close enough that you can see what they're up to. And if they're smart, they're going to do the same thing. But now, your name and your tagline and what you call yourself, that is one of the biggest decisions you will make in your business career. What are you going to call yourself? How are you going to introduce yourself when you stand up and introduce yourself? And it's all about being different. There are probably people out there that do the same thing you do, just like me. There are people out there that are LinkedIn gurus, LinkedIn mavens, they call them. And I'm going, whoa, and I listen to them all introduce themselves, and they have not differentiated themselves very much. It is so, I can't stress enough how important it is to come up with a tagline and a really great headline for your LinkedIn. My headline says it all right there. If you go look at my headline, you see that I'm the LinkedIn marketing mentor speaking with businesses on the true power of LinkedIn. It says it all. So think about, and if you need help, I'll work with you. A little bit more about me that you gals don't know. I was I worked with the Fraser Valley College for several years with a program called the Business Owner Development Program, and it was a program that was funded by the Government of Canada, and it ran from about 1987 to 1992. And in 1987, I signed up and took the course because I had a business of my own with my first husband. It was an interior decorating business. And the business was doing really well. We were up to between $60,000 and $70,000 a month in sales in our first 6 months. And the business didn't last a year because our marriage fell apart, and so the business fell apart. It was a disaster. Well, the guy who was the director of the Fraser Valley College was trying to find me. He wanted to talk to me, and it just so happened that a very good girlfriend of mine was his personal secretary. Her name was Kathy, and Kathy phoned me. He said, I want you to see if you can find Christine. And so Kathy, she knew I had moved out of the house where I had lived with my husband because we were divorcing, and I was staying with my parents. And so Kathy knew my parents' name and where to find the phone number, so she got hold of me, and she caught me. I was actually working for another interior decorating company, and I was sitting at their kitchen table typing up a quote for draperies for this customer. Well, she said, Mr. Lee wants to talk to you, and I think you better say yes. You want to go talk to him because I think he wants to offer you a job. So he offered me a job as a business consultant working with the Fraser Valley College in this business owner development program. Now, the program was a 10-month program, and it consisted of seminars that were approved by the government, that were put on by experts across Canada that flew in from all different areas of Canada to speak about different areas of business. And everything from time management to cash flow management to how to manage what kind of deductions you could have for your finances, and just the whole gamut of business management. And my responsibility was to help businesses get signed up in the program. And then once they got signed up, to go and meet with each of those businesses every month throughout the 10 months, and for 2 hours each, every month, 2 hours each business. So I had 32 businesses that I had to go and meet with for 2 hours every month to help them implement the things they were learning in the program into their business. And I worked hard. It was really hard, because to do one a day was a lot. But some of them I had to do 2 a day because I had 32 businesses. And this program was so phenomenal, and I loved it so much. I would still be doing it if the government hadn't stopped doing this program. So now when I have clients that I work with, when I'm coaching them with LinkedIn and social media, I've got the whole gamut of training and experience behind me to help my clients be able to target their audiences and to figure out who their target audience is. And one of the things that we were taught in this program was marketing, big time. They hit marketing really hard, different aspects of it. So it was right up my alley too, because I was sales and marketing. That was me. So that's one of the things. Plus, I learned how to do cash flow projections. So I sit down with my clients. If they want me to help them and coach them, I have to find out where their money is. So we always did a 12-month cash flow projection so that I could figure out where their money was, and we do a planned and an actual column so that they would be able to see. You could see, and as they were going through the year, you know what they would tell me? They would say, "Oh my gosh, I got to get me a good salesman," because they'd see themselves getting deeper and deeper into the red. I'd say 85% of the small businesses were technically bankrupt. It was a shocker. I had no idea until I was in this program working with other businesses. And we were able to rescue 2 businesses during the time that I was with the Fraser Valley College from bankruptcy. I didn't do it all by myself. I brought in the director of the department and their accountant and the business owners, and the 4 of us worked together to find solutions for how we could help them avoid bankruptcy. So that just gives you a little bit more of a background of where I'm coming from and how I work with my clients. So when I was doing these podcasts, because I was doing 6 or 7 a week, I would write a little blog about them and publish that and attach the recorded interview to the blog. And that would go out to LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. So several times a day, there were different things coming out. Quotes from Abraham Lincoln, maybe a piece of music, one of my podcast interviews, and some other stuff, maybe that blogs that I had really liked and I had shared with my tribe. And by the time I was in business for 6 months, everybody in the Vancouver area knew who the Marketing Mentress was, just because of that branding myself. And that was another part of what we learned in the Business Owner Development Program. And I was working so hard doing all of these interviews and finding people through LinkedIn to be able to interview on my show. And I had a couple of people almost IDK me. IDK means I don't know you. So you only need 5 people to IDK you, and you'll have your LinkedIn profile sent to LinkedIn jail. And LinkedIn jail means your account gets frozen. And that did happen to me with the first couple of months I was involved with LinkedIn, because I went onto this page here where you have all your people that want to connect with you, and then people you may know. Well, I thought LinkedIn was suggesting that I should connect with all these people. So I sat for hours clicking connect, 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 connect. And I obviously had 5 people IDK me. So, but there have been people that have stood up in networking meetings and said, I almost IDK'd Christine because she invited me to connect with her, but I read her profile and I realized that she was a real legitimate person and she'd invited me to be a guest on her show. So I then accepted her invitation to connect. So that's the importance of having a killer, I call it a killer profile, that profile that people can't resist. Okay, so I want to show you here. This person, I've saved this person here. She has not got a headshot. I am what they call a lion, a LinkedIn open networker, L-I-O-N. I will connect with pretty much anybody on LinkedIn. But I have a couple of caveats. If they do not have a headshot, or and I've checked her profile, I will check the profile because some people, you can set it so that your headshot doesn't show. I don't know why people do that, because subconsciously when there's no headshot, we think, oh, what are they hiding? They're hiding something from me. I don't want to connect with anybody who is not brave enough to show their headshot. They're really not there for business in my books. So I just would click this little X and X out. But what I've done with her, because I'm on a paid platform, I can send her an email. And I have sent this person an email asking her about her headshot, if she needs help getting a headshot. But if she doesn't get back to me in a few days, I will then hit the X and ignore the invitation. Also, if they have their logo up there, or a picture of a husband and a wife up there, or a picture of some kids, or a baby picture, I will not connect with those people unless, but I can send them a message. You guys can't do that because you're not on the paid platform. That's one of the things LinkedIn did. They took that ability for people who are on the free platform to send they took that away, that ability to send a direct mail to people. But here's how you get around that, and I'll show you. I'm going to take you back to so in this, people you may know, before I leave this page, never invite anybody to connect with you that you do not know, unless they are a lion and you know that they are a lion. And the place where you find lions is usually in groups. You just do a search for lion groups, and LinkedIn will show you a whole list of lion groups, and you get in those groups. But the thing is, they're from all over the world, and unless you do business with people all over the world, you don't want to join those kinds of groups. But I've coached people in Australia, New Zealand, Cyprus, Monaco, the UK, all across the United States and across Canada. So I will connect with pretty much anybody around the world if they seem like they're a legitimate person, they have a proper headshot, and they look like they've tried to do something decent with their profile. So I'm going to go back to my profile for a minute. Got so many things going through my head here all at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to go through, let's see, let's go into, Sarah's not here. Go into your profile, Susan. Okay. Oh. We aren't connected. So I'm going to send you a request to connect, if that's okay. And I'll just put friend on here and send invitation. And then I'll watch for your acceptance to come through. So in the meantime, Sarah was supposed to be on with us tonight, but she's not. I'm going to invite her to connect. So let's go. Okay, so once you're connected to somebody, now it might not, I'm just thinking here, it might not show up. I've never seen that happen very often, like what happened with yours, Susan. But everybody should have one of these little contact info tabs, and you can control that from your little icon up here in your privacy and settings menu. But you need to make sure that your email shows up, because you want people to get hold of you to give you business, right? You want them to be able to contact you. So you need this set up for that. And you also need to have your phone number in here. When you can go in and edit this yourself, and you can add your phone number, and you can add a business address in there. Don't put your home address if you have a home office. So just leave it blank. You could just put Edmonton area on there, or Edmonton, Alberta, and that's all. So now here, I'm looking at Joan's profile through my profile, okay? So I can go and I can put information in here. I can put Joan's phone number in here. Nobody else can see that, only me. It's really cool that you can do this. So anytime you connect up with somebody and you get a phone number and you get an address for them, you can put that address in there. Like, I like to send people cards, so I like to have their addresses. And then when it comes to your company website, I can edit this and I can put in her actual website if I want to. She's got it, no, sorry, I can't do that. She's got it set to company website. So let's go back. I'm going to done editing. In your company website, when you're editing, so anything I edit here, I can put contact source, like where, this will tell me where we met, and I can put that in and save it. And this little back arrow here in the corner, this is your best friend on LinkedIn. Takes you right back to your previous page. This little tab, if people can't get hold of you for business, why have your profile up there, right? So this little company website, when you first put your website on there, there's a drop-down menu, and you can choose company website, company blog, personal website, personal blog, or other. I choose other. So I'm going to take you into my profile now, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so this is my own, and I've gone in and I've got the email showing. I've got an extra IM showing, another email that people can contact me. I've got my mobile phone number, and I've got my box number, because I have a box number in Calmar. So if somebody wants to send me mail, they can. But I work from my home office, so I'm not going to put my home address on there. I've got all my Twitter handles are listed here. And I haven't opened up WeChat yet, because I don't want people from Nigeria phoning me. But here is where I've got my websites. So when you click on this to edit it, this is the menu that shows up. And so you can choose personal website, company website, blog, RSS feed, portfolio, or other. I always suggest you choose other and then choose some keywords to give your website a name. My website is called The Marketing Mentress, but I wanted to have another way for the search engines to find me. So I put New Media Marketing, and then your URL for your site goes right here. And my website is a podcasting site, so that's why there's the Podbean in there. And that did the same thing with all of my websites. I have a website for entertaining seniors that's for music. I'm a classically trained mezzo. And so I will go around and sing for seniors. I have my own little amplifier and microphone and my canned music, and I'll sing Doris Day and Patti Page and all the old songs, and they love it. And then I have the business of podcasting. So this is another podcasting website. My website is called Practical Podcasting, but I put a name on there, the business of podcasting, because I wanted another way for the search engines to find a keyword to search for that website. So you never put company website or any of that up there because you want the search engines. Everything we do online has to be search engine thought. What are the search engines going to pull up on this? So whatever we do, we have to make sure we've got search engines in the back of our mind the whole time. But isn't this cool? Yes? Do you want to use chat? Let's use chat. I don't know what you're saying. Where's my chat window? Ah, here we are. No. Chat. Okay. What was it you wanted, Susan? You can chat. You can type in the chat. Okay. I'll just leave it for you. You can get a hold of me later, I guess. And then there's another little tab I want you to notice here. This here, see this little cog wheel here? This is really important that you know about this little cog wheel. Most people don't know that it's there. So I'm clicking on that little cog wheel. And what this does is it shows your profile without, so you see your profile as it shows up in the public. So you see what other people are actually going to see when they look at your profile. So I've got 74 recommendations that are showing up right now. I've got, these are my websites. And so that's what it's going to look like to other people. And so see how different it looks? So these are where my published posts are, where I publish my blogs. I also have a blog site. So there's my summary, my experience. And you see exactly what it's going to look like for when other people look at it. Isn't that cool? Okay, so now I'm going to go up to this privacy and settings. We're at 8:30. You can actually manage your whole profile editing right from this location. Here's where you can change your password here. You can add emails. What I've done, and I'll just show you here, I have added all the emails that I use. I see I've got 2 emails that I need to confirm here. I need to get confirmation email. Because, and here's the reason why. People may have an email that isn't my primary email that I use for LinkedIn, and they can't get hold of me for whatever reason. They can get a message to me through LinkedIn. And you can add phone numbers here. And this is where you add your phone number to show up and it'll show up in that little tab. And remember your back arrow is your best friend. So you don't have to re-log back into this. They have a double opt-in here so that when you get into this part, this back office, I call it, where all your settings are, they double opt-in with that because they have had somebody a couple years ago hacked into LinkedIn. So that's where they came up with this double opt-in. Now I'm on a premium account. I could manage my premium account here if I wanted to. Now I'm going to scroll up the screen a bit. These are each different tabs. There's a profile tab, a communications tab, your groups and companies and applications, and your account tab. Your profile tab is where you manage your profile, and you can work through each one of these and you can turn on, off, but I want people I want to see when people mention me on LinkedIn so that I can respond. Because you never know, that might be business. And I want to choose whether or not activity updates are going to be shared on my activity feed. So this says, let people know when you change your profile. I've got it turned off right now. Remember that little green button that was I turned it to red? Well, this is turned off right now because I don't want people to see all the little changes I make. And select who can see your activity feed. Select what others see when they viewed your profile. So here, this is really important. Always have this one checked, so that when you're connecting with people, when you're communicating with people, they see your profile picture. And so lots of times, this is why I go and check people's profiles. Lots of times people will ask to connect with me because I'm a Lion. I'm a member of one Lion group. And so they will reach out to connect with me. And if they don't have a headshot showing, I will click on their name and go and see if they actually do have a picture on their profile. Because if they've got one of these checked off, their profile picture is not going to show up. And they just need to talk to the marketing mentor so that she can set them straight. And you can turn on or off how you rank. I like others to see. Excuse me, I gotta rub my nose here. I like others to see how I rank. It's a part of being a little bit transparent. And choose who can follow your updates. I've got mine set to everyone. Here's the thing. If you just have your connections seeing your updates, it doesn't leave the marketplace open for other people to view your goods, so to speak. So you've got to think of yourself, you're in a marketplace and you've got a storefront. Your profile is your storefront. And if you lock your door, nobody's going to be able to come in and buy your stuff. So that's why I look at this like this. I want people to be able to see my profile. Just as simple as that. I want them to be able to open my door and come in and check what my products are that I've got available for sale. Show hide viewers of this profile. I like to see who's viewed my profile. I like to be totally on top of that. There's been a few women who have gotten in touch with me and said, look, my ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, whatever, has been stalking me. And you can control that too. All you have to do is block them. And I'll show you how to do that. Manage who you're blocking. I've only got 2 people that I'm blocking right now. But if there's somebody who's obnoxious, you can block them. And I'll show you how you do it. I'll just use, if you click this little down arrow, you can block and report, and you can remove the connection. Really easy. And you can manage how people who have your phone number can connect with you. So all LinkedIn members, people in your first degree and second degree network, or just your first degree only. But LinkedIn recommends that you do this one, and I recommend you do too, because we're in business, right? This is a business platform, so we want to make sure that people can get hold of us. And we can turn on or off meet the team privacy settings. So your profile information is pulled into a job detail page. And if you're not looking for a job, you don't want this checked off. You can manage your Twitter settings right here. So you can add, these are all my Twitters I've got on here. You can manage your WeChat settings. Like I've mentioned earlier, I don't have my WeChat set up. I don't want people from Nairobi to phone me. And if they want to get hold of me, they've got my phone number and they've got my email in that tab that they can get hold of me through. I can't tell you, the first time I had somebody phone me through Facebook. Have any of you had somebody phone you through Facebook? It was the eeriest thing. I was on Facebook and all of a sudden one of my girlfriends, phoned me through Facebook. And I just about lost it because I thought I was losing my mind. And now I'm sort of used to it, but it just is really uncanny. So if somebody was going to phone me through LinkedIn from Nairobi, I would just totally, I don't think that's right. To me, I don't think that's right. If I want to get in touch with them, we can use other systems. We can use Skype. So here's helpful links. Edit your name, location, and industry. So you can edit right here, all this basic information. Edit your total profile, edit your public profile, and you can manage your recommendations. So then we go into the communications. The communications is where you set how many emails you want to receive. I don't know about you guys, but I get like 200 emails a day at least. And I've turned off, you can be in a whole bunch of groups now. You can be in up to 100 groups now. So you can set your frequency of emails. So we don't have time to work through every little detail here, but I'll just do one and show you what it looks like. So invitations to connect, you can set that to be individual email, weekly digest, or no email. Well, I like individual email because if somebody's wanting to connect with me, I want to know about it. Invitations to join groups, no email. I don't want to be invited to join groups. I want to join the groups I choose. I don't want everybody that's starting a new group to invite me to join a new group, because the whole thing is you want to join groups that have 10,000 or more people in, because that is your inventory. That is what you're going to search to mine LinkedIn for people that would be possible ideal clients for you. And we cover all that, talk about the groups in the LinkedIn 202. Messages from connections. How many do I want to get? A weekly digest, no email, or individual email? Well, if somebody who's connected to me wants to get hold of me, I definitely want them to get a message to me. In mails and introductions, yes, I'm looking for business, so I want to make sure that they can get hold of me. And I want individual email. I don't want just a digest. And new connection suggestions, individual email. Profiles sent to you, I get a weekly digest. I don't need to have individual email with that. And job suggestions, no email. I don't want a job, thank you very much. So I'm going to cancel this because I didn't make any changes here. And so updates and news. So you just work through each one of these tabs and decide how much email, and if that is really going to have a significant effect on your business. So if you don't think it's going to be a significant effect, then shut down the email as much as you possibly can. And then the next section below this, in the communications, you can select your push notification settings. I should show you this. So these are messages from other members, invitations, messages from other communications, likes, comments, and other activity around you. You can get invitations to connect and messages if you want. And these are all the other ones. And you can turn off some of these if you want to. I've left mine all on because I want to get notifications. I like to be on top of what's happening with my LinkedIn profile. So select the types of messages that you'd prefer to receive. Select who can send you invitations. Turn on, off invitations to participate in research. I've got this turned off. I don't have time to participate in research. Turn on, off partner in-mail. So a lot of this stuff you can set for yourself. I would leave this on for a while and see how it fares for you. And if you don't like it, you can always turn it off. Groups and companies and applications. So you can select your group display order. You can view your groups. You can set the frequency of group digest emails. So we are joining these groups only or mainly to mine the groups. You only want to be in maybe 2 groups that you want to get involved with the discussion threads. Most of the groups that you join are going to be big groups that will have your target market that you can mine, and I teach you how to use the Boolean searching so that you can, and Boolean is the name of it, B-O-O-L-E-A-N. That's the name of the guy that discovered it, I guess, designed it. It's a way to search the internet for specific things. So when you go into Google and you type in candles, then you'll get a whole bunch of places where you can go and find out information about candles and everything from homemade candles to whatever. If you want to go, you can refine that search down to homemade candles, and you can refine it down to homemade beeswax candles, and that's a simplistic way of doing Boolean searching. So you'll be doing that kind of searching in the groups that you join. So if you're in, and I'll just use this as an example. Say you've got a health and wellness business, and you want to figure out what kind of groups your ideal client is in. I've had so many times the health and wellness people will say, well, I've joined all the health and wellness businesses that have 10,000 or more people in them. And I said, why? They're all looking for the exact same client you are. So why are you going into those groups? You got to think, where do my clients come from? Where am I going to be most likely to find the people that can afford to buy and need and want my stuff? Probably if you're in health and wellness, not in the health and wellness groups. You want to go to small business owner groups where they have stress and they need health and wellness. You want to, and in HR groups where the heads of human resources are, where they have stress beyond, and they're looking for relief from their stress. So it could be through supplements, through therapies, different kinds of therapies. Joan, this would be perfect for you. And you can find your ideal clients in those groups of small business owners. You could also find them in groups of CEOs, executives. There's all kinds of different types of executive groups. If you want to help people in the medical industry, nurses. If you're in health and wellness, and Joan, for your business, groups of nurses, that would be a really great place for you to find your ideal clients. But Susan, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think where you would find where do you find your ideal clients? Would they be small businesses? Nod your head or shake your head. Okay, well, what we can do, Susan, I'll work with you, because part of this package, this webinar package, you each get 30 minutes one-on-one with me, and we'll set a time to do a 30-minute one-on-one, and then we can go more in detail as to who your actual target audience is and where to find your ideal client at that point. So hopefully I've given you a little bit of an overview here of the groups. But I'm in, I think, about 68 groups now, but you can be in up to 100 of them. And you can see how I've set them so that I get a daily digest on some, no email, no email, no email, no email. I just want to keep my emails to as minimal as possible. Some of these groups, I don't even know why I've got this B2B marketing on Daily Digest. I think I'll turn that one down to no email as well. Save changes. It's like me, if I'm in marketing, right? I'm in a few big marketing groups that have like over 100,000 in each group. Because I've discovered that in those groups there are some business owners, and so when I use my Boolean searches, then I can weed out my target audience. Come on, stop thinking here. Okay, I'm just going to go to a different one. Okay, so we're going to go, oh, I can't. I have to stay on this one, darn. Because I'm already logged into the back. I guess I wasn't. It booted me out. So I'll just let you work through the details on that, the rest of that one. But I want to go into your account. So you can, if you want to go into advertising, I don't recommend that you do any LinkedIn advertising until you get over 500 connections on LinkedIn and really get your feet wet with how LinkedIn works. You're posting regularly on the platform, and you just don't want to do any paid advertising until you talk to me. Talk to me first. Because the LinkedIn advertising can be very expensive. Facebook advertising is very inexpensive, but I don't know how effective it is. I've used paid advertising on Facebook, and I haven't found it to be beneficial. So I haven't recommended the paid advertising on either platform for anybody. Not unless you're a big company like IBM can afford to have it, you have a big budget for it. So you can change your profile photo visibility, you can hide photos of other members, you can select your language. There's all kinds of different things that you can do. You can upgrade your account if you want to, but I don't suggest you go off the free platform till you have used LinkedIn for at least a year and you have well over 500 connections. I'm sorry, I can sound a little bit grandmotherly, but I hope it's taken in the right way. So here's posts. There should be a little section here where you can, there's all these different boxes that have different categories that you can add to your profile. Mine just happens to be, because I've got so many categories added to my profile, these are the ones that happen to show up. And there should be a little thing that says show more or view more that you can click on. And there should be one for posts. And this is a must-have. You need to have your posts up here. And if you don't have a blog site or a place for a blog, I just use blogger.com, and I post them on Blogger so that I have a URL that I can then put into my Sprout Social and send it out. But every time I do a new article, I've been doing a series of LinkedIn tips, and whenever I publish a new tip or a new blog, I also publish it on my LinkedIn in my posts. So you can view the stats of your posts here. You can write a new post right from here. So if I click on here, it will open up, and on the left side you'll see all the posts that I have written previous, and it'll open it up so that we can start. I hope that this isn't going to ruin my computer, this green guy, green goblin we'll call him. So you can add pictures here. You just click on the picture and then you go into where pictures are and you can add a picture. It shows your name and your tagline here and your headshot. See, these three things, they're the most important things on your profile. And then you can write a headline in here. You can add a link. So if you've got a newsletter that you've been sending out on a regular basis and you've got a link to that newsletter, you can just upload that link here and it will show up on your platform. It's awesome. You can add pictures, you can add video, and you can embed. So this, you can also add a link through clicking on here as well. And then you put your headline on here. So I'm going to go back to the top here, and I'm not going to save this. Now you can also publish a post. Whoops. You can also publish a post on your home page. So here's the thing. If you do not have your posts set up and have published at least one post on there on your profile page where we were just a minute ago. When you publish a post here, and when you click on this, the exact same thing shows up. And then when you publish your post, it will show up on your home feed. Your home feed is where all the people you're connected to and your second connections all their posts will show up. So you can also publish from your home page, exactly the same way you can from your profile page. Here's the thing this is really important. You can publish either from your profile page or you can publish a post from your home page. When you publish from your profile page, it will automatically show up on your home page. If you publish on your home page, it will automatically show up on your profile page. So the reason you want your posts to show up in both places is some of the people that check your profile out are not going to see the feed. They won't necessarily catch the feed because there are so many posts that go through the home feed that they get missed. But if you have all your posts showing up on your home page, on your profile page, then when people go to check your profile out, they'll see what your latest posts are. Isn't that cool? So it gives them a little bit more of an insight into you and your business and what you can do for people. Now, these posts that I publish on LinkedIn, I also publish them in my blogger.com. So that I can go into my blogger and I can click on the URL. That URL can then be posted in my Sprout Social, and I can then think of a catchy headline or title and schedule it to go out different times through all my social media. So with Sprout Social, I can attach to my Sprout Social, I can attach my LinkedIn profile page, my LinkedIn company page, my Facebook profile page, my Facebook business page, my Twitter, and my Google Plus account. These are the key accounts that you need to have. The reason you need to have a Google Plus account, and if your Google Plus account is sort of a cross between Facebook and Twitter, Google Plus, you need to have an account on there because Google is the most powerful search engine on the net. If you have a profile set up on Google Plus, then the search engines find that profile really easy. Once they know you're there, then it's easier for those search engines to find you on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter. And so when I first publish each of my posts, I also put it on Google Plus from my blogger.com. So I'm giving you a little bit of advanced stuff here. I hope I'm not boggling your mind too much. But it's all of this stuff, it takes time. And I can totally relate if you're feeling overwhelmed. Because believe me, when I started on my social media, I was so overwhelmed. I just felt like crying every day. I didn't even want to sit in front of my computer because I knew what was waiting for me there, and I was just not social media savvy. And I'm a boomer. I'm 66, and here I am teaching other people. And that's another reason why I'm teaching other people, is because I know it's most of the people that are 40 and up, in fact, even there's people in their 20s that I'm coaching, LinkedIn's not easy to learn, and to be able to get the whole system working together so that it's synchronized and it gets sort of like on autopilot and it can sort of manage itself. It takes time to get that all figured out. But you got me. So what I'd like to do, can you see the chat when I bring the chat up? Can you see the chat on my screen? No, you can't. Susan, you can't see the chat, this little chat window? It should show up. Where can you find posts? Okay, the posts are...
I found it.
You found it?
Yeah.
Okay. They're in those little boxes that are right below, that show up right below your profile box on your profile page. So what I want to do with you gals is I want to set a time to meet with each of you for 30 minutes, one-on-one, to help you with your own individual LinkedIn profile. So I don't want to do it right away. Is 10 days too far, or is that about right? Would 10 days away be good? Okay. So I've got, let's see, 10 days. So we won't do next week. So the week of the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, I've got right now, Monday is totally open on the 22nd, and Thursday is totally open, the 25th. So Monday and Thursday. Which is better, morning or afternoon? AM or PM? AM? Okay. So Susan, is Monday good for you? 10 o'clock? Okay, so I'm going to put you down 10 o'clock on Monday the 22nd, Susan. Okay, what about you, Joan?
Thursday.
Thursday? What time?
In the morning.
9, 10?
10.
Okay. Okay, I got you both down. This has been awesome. I hope I haven't boggled your minds too much, but you've always got email, so feel free. Feel free to send me emails with your questions if you've got questions as you're starting to work with your profiles. And my phone number is right on my LinkedIn profile, 780-904-9557. So if you need to phone me, you can catch me on the phone. And if I am busy on a call or in a meeting, I always hit that little can't talk right now message, and then I will call you as soon as I get out of my meeting. Any other questions?
No, a lot of information.
Okay. Thank you very much. This has been a pleasure and a privilege to be on this with you.
Thanks, Christine.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. End meeting. Bye.